Hi, I'm Laura, a lover of delicious food, delicious beer, and exploring the world. If you're just joining in on the adventure, I arrived in Madrid for the very first time a few days ago and spent those first days exploring all of the top sites to see around Madrid. Not only was it my first time in Spain, but it was my first time in a Spanish-speaking country since I left Mexico over 7 months ago. I was so nervous about speaking Spanish again after so many months, and even more so, worried that I wasn't going to understand the accent and notoriously quick-speaking Madrileños. Leading up to the trip, I wanted to make sure that I tuned my ear back to Spanish and that I practiced listening to the Madrid accent so that I wouldn't be stressed and could enjoy the trip as much as possible. Thanks in large part to today's video sponsor, LingoPie, I was able to do exactly that while also learning a bit about the Spanish culture and relaxing in front of the TV all at the same time. LingoPie is a video-on-demand site that has a huge selection of TV shows, not just for Spanish learners, but for French, Portuguese, German, Italian, and Russian too, with more languages being added all the time. Before my trip to Madrid, I went onto LingoPie and looked for all of the shows that I could find that had the Spanish flag on them, which means that these shows are specifically from Spain. While inside the show, you can slow it down or speed it up to really get practicing. There are both English and Spanish subtitles on the screen, and best of all, if there is vocabulary that you don't know, you simply click on it for a translation, and it is automatically added to your flashcard list, which you can review at the end of watching the show. You can do quizzes based on these flashcards and see how much of it you can remember. In addition to the flashcards, you can also test your pronunciation while you're watching the show, and it will offer you a score to tell you how you're doing.
4 out of 100.
If you also want to practice listening to Spanish from Spain, I highly recommend the show If I Were You. If you want to practice listening to Argentinian Spanish, I absolutely loved Grandma Sofia and binge-watched it in about 3 days. For Mexican Spanish, I've been enjoying Cindy and Maite, which is about 2 Spanish women who moved to Mexico and want to become actresses, but first they need to learn to speak like Mexicans. It's an interesting look into both Spanish and Mexican cultures. In addition to TV shows, they also have movies, podcasts, documentaries, and one of my favorite parts, there are audiobooks which you can use the dual subtitles with just like the TV shows. I've added a link in the description of the video as well as in the comments section so that you can sign up and get 65% off your year subscription. Now let's use some of that Spanish in Madrid, shall we? Good morning from a sunny day here in Madrid. Today we are headed out of the city center for the first time to explore a neighborhood called Legazpi. That's the metro station at least. So we're gonna hop on the metro, we're gonna take it all the way down towards the river, and I'll show you why we're headed there when we get there. Let's go. We are at a place called Matadero, which used to be an abattoir or a slaughterhouse, and now it's been sort of repurposed into a community space. There's art, there's shops, there's cafes, so yeah, we're gonna check it out and see this very interesting place and a very beautiful architecture. We hopped back on the metro to explore a neighborhood called Barrio de las Letras, or the Literary Quarter as it's called in English. It was home to famous writers like Cervantes and Lope de Vega. There are signs on buildings all over this area that share which writers called these particular apartments home. It was a popular haunt for Hemingway and continues to be one of the best neighborhoods in the center of the city for tapas bar hopping. So that's what we did, starting with Taberna El Sur de Huertas. We had patatas bravas with a deliciously spicy sauce, garlic shrimp with a sauce so buttery we couldn't help but mop it all up with the crusty bread they brought us, and Iberico ham so thinly sliced that too had to be piled high on a piece of bread. After lunch, it was on to perhaps one of the most famous food spots in all of Madrid. One that will come up on every search you do as you plan your trip to this city, so I couldn't miss out on flaky churros and rich chocolate dipping sauce. Wow. That's rich. That chocolate was insane. It reminded me a little bit of like American style chocolate pudding. It was so rich and it was hot. The churros were okay. If you've been to Mexico City, El Modo is better, if I'm being honest, but it's a chocolateria, so it's about the chocolate and A+. We are about to head into the Prado Museum, which is one of the top art museums in the world here in Madrid. So it's free from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. So just after 6, we're gonna head in and see what all the fuss is about. Well, a top tip for you if you're coming to Madrid soon and you want to go to the Prado, you have to book. You have to like make a reservation. So even though it's free, you have to go on their website, I'll link below, and you have to like book a slot to come. So we won't be doing that today. Instead of getting cultured at a museum, I decided to learn more about the Spanish tapas culture and head to a cool little bar called Taberna de Dolores. And here I learned you pay more for your beer when you sit at a table than when you drink that very same beer at the bar. Then it was time to head to a restaurant where I did remember to make a booking quite a few weeks ago, in fact. You see where my priorities lie. I was headed to a restaurant called Sobrino de Botín. Opened in 1725, this restaurant is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest continuously operating restaurant in the world. The roasted suckling pig at this restaurant was mentioned in a Hemingway novel. But despite all the titles and awards, I was looking forward to seeing inside the restaurant and enjoying a little bit of a fancy atmosphere. The tables are downstairs near the wine cellar. The staff were exceptional, the sangria was delicious, and the food was pretty good. Would I come back here? Probably not, but I'm glad I came once. Good afternoon. It's a very exciting day here in Madrid. We are going on a little bit of a tapas crawl, starting with bocadillos, with like a bread roll with some fried calamari in it. I'm so excited. Let's commence. Are we on?
Yeah, we're wrong.
Big boy. It's gonna be dry. The second stop on what ended up being quite a short tapas crawl was La Concha. I'd read that this was the place to have a vermut, and it did not disappoint. They make their own vermut here, and it was like we saved the best for last on this trip. The food here was excellent as well. We had bacalao, or salted cod, sliced thinly on top of a piece of bread, and we had jamón de pato, or duck that's been cured like ham, which was so smoky and delicious. They gave us plenty of free tapas too, like pate, olives, and this indulgent chocolate truffle when we paid the bill. So the main reason to go to La Concha is for the vermut there, and it was so good. They make it in-house. You can buy a bottle of it, but we truly have no more room for it, so. Well, you guys, the Tapas Crawl was a little bit of a dud because I didn't check the time and we had too much fun at the museum and we stayed too long, and most of the tapas bars shut at 4 o'clock or 4:30 and then open again at 8. And we didn't get there until like 3:30. So we didn't have a ton to eat. We wandered around for a little bit and now we've got to get back to our hotel so we can sleep and get up bright and early for a flight. So we're having dinner in a restaurant that has very good reviews, but we're a bit early. So I think it's gonna be good anyway, but we're gonna have the cocido again, which is the same meal that we had at La Bola, and we're gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be great. And enjoy it we did. We ended this trip to Madrid the same way we started it, with a Cocido Madrileño. This time, I knew the method. First, you enjoy this delicious soup, rich with meaty flavor and noodles that were thick and chewy, alongside some fluffy and very absorbent bread. Then came the meat and chickpeas. This was so much food, I ended up taking some of it back to our hotel to have as a snack the next day. I hope you guys enjoyed traveling to Madrid with me. I had so much fun. We ate so well. We drank quite well as well, so my liver is glad that this trip is over, but we did in the end get to go to the Prado Museum. We just went during the day when you have to pay. It's 15 euros per person, and you get to see the entire museum. It included the exhibitions as well, so great value, very cool museum, so worth it in the end anyway. If you do want to go for free, I will link in the description below so that you can pre-book those tickets ahead of time. Definitely do it at least 3 or 4 days in advance because they are booking out fast. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel. If you have any questions about traveling to Madrid, let me know in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. Next week, I've got a video coming for you all about a cost breakdown of traveling to Madrid at the moment. It's certainly more expensive than I initially thought it would be. So yeah, I'll break that all down for you in the coming weeks. So be sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those. I'll link up here for the first video to Madrid, which breaks down all of the things that we did in our first 2 days, seeing all the top sites and eating a lot more food. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.